esteemed jury members, I welcome you to the city of lakes and lakes, Kollam. I'm being a Kollamite. So let me straight, because my time is limited, let me straight get into the topic of present. And Fort Kochi is one of the most sought out destination for every tourist, whether inland as well as abroad. And if you look, it has maintained its physical boundary right from the Dutch period till date. And the one map down is the Dutch one, and the one is the, on top, bigger one is the present one. And still that round one is the site where our project lies. And both are more or less the same. It has retained the same configuration. The most beautiful part of this thing is it is the only one in the world which has a continuous three colonial powers ruled in the same place continuously without a break. That is the beauty of this thing. And all the contributions in the layers are still seen over there. And so it's a larger context. We have to look the whole scene. And it's also, Fort Kochi is also trying to designate into a UNESCO tag for shortly we are trying our level best. And this is the three colonial powers. And the most beautiful part of the Cochin is the urban scape. The whole, every street has its own character and different typologies of forms, street forms, bungalow forms, and courtyard forms. All these gives beauty to the whole thing. And looking at this thing, 1999, the state government has declared this entire Fort Kochi and Mattancherry as the first heritage zone of the Kerala state. And following which, there was restrictions in terms of, they made a Urban Arts Commission or Art and Heritage Commission, which was putting up the guidelines for the type of buildings to come up in order to maintain the character. Because the whole tourist flow is basically to look into the architectural character, the cultural heritage. For that only the people are coming. So it's necessary for us to maintain. So in this context, we have this building which is coming up also, which is it's in the Lily Street, which is a part of a larger complex. So when we start looking at it, this was actually, this is one portion, but if you look on towards the north, there was another complex, and towards the west also there was another complex, which form a larger part of the whole thing. The entire thing was a Dutch property. Because we were looking into the research, and the red one, it's very difficult to read, but it's very clearly designated. It is 1765, the Dutch. It's a Dutch document. In the document, it was very clearly mentioned. So the entire thing was a Dutch document, but in due course, it got cut down into three different parts. So when we started looking at it, over a period, a lot of changes and transformation has happened, and that's we can see in the roof form. So this was what the whole building when we started with it, and the grey was the original form, which is 93 feet thick walls and instairs staircase, and the one which is a later addition, which over a period which has happened. And this building was not in use for a long time. The owner was giving it for videography and other kind of shootings. So it was going dilapidated day by day without maintenance. And even when it rains, the entire area was also waterlogged. If you look, this was the condition when we took over the building. And this was the first floor of the building. And this staircase steps was a later addition for done in later period to give the whole upper floor as a rent, not as the original thing, because there was already a staircase inside which was used by the inmates of the house. And this was the condition of the roof, because it kept on changing, and they have added a lot of intervention in terms of changing the floor and changing the roof. And this has also led to the dilapidated condition, because there was a seepage of water and there was no water, proper drainage. All this has added in the water tank. Everything was added later, which also added to the decay of the building. And this is the facade of the building, which also has got changed, because the Dutch building used to have nice windows which overlooking onto the street. The Dutch used to have the kind of seats, the windows overlooking the street, and both sides they have the seats. And the Dutch ladies, the hobby of the ladies is generally to sit in Holland. They sit on the seat and watch the streets. They are so lazy, they don't even like to peep through the window outside. Rather than they have a mirror on either side, and they look onto the mirror and see the street fight, what is happening. So that kind of windows you can see on the top. So these windows, these are the Dutch windows which I was talking about. So they have seats on either side, which we could decipher over there. So we thought to putting back those things, those elements retain. And these were the staircase which was already existing over there. And this was a present condition when we looked into the staircase and the roof form. And one of the, the leader which I took it from is one of the Pierce Leslie bungalow on the corner of the Bastion bungalow side, which has been changed over a period. This was the original form, and much earlier they changed it also into this, later British period, they changed into this form. So this was a kind of building which took it. So this was one of the lead which I took over to decide the concept. And when I started looking at the concept, that orange wala, that one top, we retained, that's the old part, and the pink part was the one newly added. And the whole thing, the concept was to retain the open space as such. And in future, when we get this Napier house, we would like to connect that and also the property on the north. So this was the whole concept, right? So we retained the whole green space as such and added only the pink part, which was the same as the footprint of what originally we demolished the later additions. And when we tried to connect the whole link through that green space, the connecting link, which was a veranda which formed the linkage for that. And these were the kind of Dutch elements which we identified and we tried to incorporate in the whole thing. And once we started doing it, we decided to convert it into a boutique hotel small without changing its pathology of the building. So we just added the additional form in the rooms into it. So we were able to get around 5 rooms at the ground floor and the top 6 rooms. But initially, the kitchen was planned over here, so they were also lacking room. But later, in the whole process, we were able to fetch that Napier house property, which helped us because this was been already planned. So we had this veranda, which is linking and straight linked into the other side, so which we moved the kitchen into the Napier house, and we took the whole rooms over here. So this was the transformation, what you see. And we tried, one of the major change what I did was that change the whole roof into the typical Dutch roof form. So the span was almost 15 meters, so we were not able to do it with the wood because it was becoming very costly for the client because I was trying to convince the client to make it because he wants to demolish the whole thing and put a 2-storied building. But somehow we convinced and he agreed to retain this thing and add it, and he was also very, very prosperous fellow to help us in doing this. So the roof form, what we did was with the MS steel section, so that any later addition if you want, we can easily remove. It is like a prefabricated roof form, and we tried to retain that, and also we added the gutter so that the entire rainwater has been collected and recharged the thing. And this was the first floor we tried to add it, and these are the kind of, even the blue tiles we used because it was typical of Jew blue pottery tiles, and which is because at some point of time the Jews were also residing in. The Jew, the prayer house was on this side and the Jew this side. So we want in future, we want to convert the entire thing into back to the original form. That's why we have kept the whole thing. So we hope on the north side property also in future we may get it. We have taken on the west side also. When we added the pool, and this was a kind of roof form, we took it. When we did the roof form, we had the attic. So we used that attic space also as a spa. Initially it was designed as a dormitory, but now it has been used as a spa with a toilet. And all the services were also taken down through the south side. And if you look, this is a what you call restored section, what we got it. And with the retained, and then we also had universal accessibility through a small lift which is attached on the southern side through the external. It's a hydraulic lift we have given just for 2 passengers to go up. And this is the kind of roof form we could able to achieve. And with the swimming pool on the southeast side, and this is what we could achieve in the end of the thing. And we restored the facade also we removed the staircase because that was a later addition, and we brought the whole thing a circulation space in the front which overlooking onto the pool and the open space, and also to the, and then we added these 3 Dutch windows again on the top and floor with the typical bracket. And these were the transformation what you can see how it happened over the period. And this is what before and after, and this was before and after, and this, and this was the roof form. And we used the Mangalore pattern tiles, and this wall we retained as such because we want to show the different layers which has come as such. And this is what happened. And this is the pool and the small auditorium which we designed on the corner. And these were the interiors which add ambience to the whole. We didn't change the pathology, not even single wall we removed. And this is the streetscape, what you see from the street, because this is what gives the character to the whole street. So we added as if it's a part of the whole street. And this is how it looks after the lighting. And this is the wall we tried to build a lime wash. And the old building we repaired with the lime, and the new one with the concrete, which we added. Thank you.
Kindly move on to the Q&A session.
Thank you for your presentation. Quick question. The challenge of conservation versus adaptive reuse. Without adaptive reuse, you don't even get an opportunity to conserve. So when you encounter adaptive reuse as a strategy, there are several forces that are working on the architect. I mean, putting us in your shoes becomes a very difficult challenge. So what are aspects of this? Sorry, what were what were the aspects of this project that you thought you missed out on? And you pointed out the things that you achieved, and we could see that in the project when we visited. But there are always certain things that you may think now in retrospect that you missed out on. Can you pinpoint one particular thing? Right.
We had to do it from, we transported and it was a containment zone. The workers were just put over there, and so I mean I could do a little more perfection, but the problem happened because personally I couldn't be on site all the time. So that was also one.
And these are actually very site-intensive projects.
It's
So
the site
that was
intensive
a
because the
big-
roof, especially the roof, I had to face a lot of problem in the roof because it was a challenging thing, and we somehow to get that roof profile with all the thing was we did twice or thrice to get into that level.
So there is a new block and there is an old block.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate on the integration, the constraints specifically of that integration?
The integration is, you can see there's a small level difference, and also the whole thing is detached. That the expansion joint I gave exactly on the new block, and this one was already existing. It was only 15 centimeter the plinth of height. Here you feel 45. So in the new block I give all the thing, and with every new block is with brick, and it is new material, and everything was done with that. But the roof only I integrated the roof this with the main roof, so that the whole form into it, and the entire what you call the water collection point was there, and we are recharging the entire thing. And the one part I missed already, there was a nice well over there, beautiful well being conserved, because that is the only well all these years, because Fort Kochi used to have a problem of water shortage. This well never dried up in any of these years. So the entire, for the hotel, the entire water is coming from that well. Even now we are using it, and you can see that's been, a seating has been arranged all over. We want to just highlight that. We have kept that as such.
So as part of your conservation and adaptive reuse, do you think you were able to do that at the landscape level also?
No, I don't 100%. I don't agree to that, because landscape are changing again. Because it started with one, and because I told you the problem what we faced was during the COVID time. So we were on the site. My presence was not 100% was there. So I was coming because containment zone, we were not even allowed to enter into that area, but still managed. But we are now changing now. Now you see the earlier one was what you see, and now it is already we have changed, and we are keeping on changing, because hotel is, I mean, any hotel is a place we need a continuous thing, and we are also experimenting. Because the landscape originally there was nothing. To be honest, that was an open space between the prayer hall on the Jews, and this side is resident, and this was a kind of an office space. So this triangle thing, they had an open space which has been in the meeting. So we want to keep that as open space even in future. Once we get that new building, like that adjoining building also, which is a Jew thing, and this is Napier House we achieved, but this also we got it. Once these three, the whole thing forms a lung space for the three to interact. Because that, if you see on that side, there's a wall which has a number of layers added to it. Bottom is thick, and then the buttresses are, but we want to keep as such, and just to have an opening to this side, so that the whole thing forms and integrate. We want to take it back to the original. So then the landscape we are trying to.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.